lovelies. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are back with another Coffee with Cass with fall vibes, of course. I will be sharing some fall facts with you today as we both kind of calm down from our days. First off, this video is sponsored, so thank you to Cumbor French Press for featuring your product in today's Coffee with Cass. So let's go ahead and get our coffee going in the French press. So some suggestions on how to brew the perfect cup of coffee with this French press. Always place your French press on a dry, flat and non-slip surface. To heat the French press, you can pour hot water into the press, wait a minute, and then pour it out. Be sure to use coarsely ground coffee into this pot, about 8 ounces to a cup. That's roughly going to be 1 to 2 scoops of coarsely ground coffee. Place the French press at a 45-degree angle and slowly add your hot water to the pot. Now be sure to not completely fill it. Definitely want to leave some space. At least 1 inch should be left. You can stir the brew gently with a wooden spoon to make sure that the water has fully mixed with the grounds. Attach the plunger unit to the pot and turn it so the lid's closed. Let the coffee brew for at least 4 minutes, or whatever is recommended for your specific coffee brew. Hold the handle firmly and do not face the spout. Apply force to the top of the knob to push the plunger straight down into the pot. Press the plunger slowly and steadily with minimal pressure to make sure the best taste. This French press also came with an extra filter screen, a measuring spoon, and even a sponge for cleaning. Alright. I'm ready for my cup of coffee and our Coffee with Cass. Here we have our deliciously brewed dark coffee today. I do need to turn the lid so that the spout is open. There we are. Cup of coffee for me. Alright, lovelies. Grab whatever, probably warm beverage you would like to sip along with me as we go through some interesting fall facts that I found for this time of year. Today I'm drinking my coffee black. Through French presses, I usually like to have a black cup of coffee with French press, but sometimes I'll add a little razzle dazzle, just depends. Alright, so some of our fall, autumn, Halloween facts today. Americans typically refer to this time of year as fall, while the British use the word autumn. I use both. Historically, fall was called harvest because of the harvest moon that occurs close to the autumn equinox. Fall colors are caused by the amount of sugar in the leaves. The more red in the leaf, the more sugar that leaf is storing. That is why maple trees are so vibrant. Evergreens don't change because their leaves have a thick wax covering that protects the chlorophyll, the green, in the leaves. Maple trees are very pretty this time of year. Fall is for lovers. More people go from single to in a relationship or engaged in fall than any other season. That may be because both men and women experience higher level of testosterone in the colder months. We don't have a great answer as to why that is, but more babies are conceived in the cold months than any other time of the year. Maybe because everybody's inside. Let's see. Fall tourism, aka leaf peeping, brings in big money for the New England states. The seasonal change brings around $3 billion to the small region. That's a lot, but I have always wanted to visit kind of like that area during fall too, so I think that I would have like a crazy time photography wise because it just looks super beautiful in the fall months. Children born in fall are statistically better students and live longer. According to the UK Department of Education and University of Chicago, fall is the best time to be born. So if you happen to have a birthday in a fall month, there you go. Kind of like I had said, evergreen trees such as pines, cedars, and spruces stay green because of their leaves and or needles are covered with thick wax, and they contain materials that prevent freezing when it gets cold. Squirrels get smarter. During the gray squirrel's fall catching season, when the critters bury nuts and seeds in hundreds of scattered catches to serve as emergency winter, a typical squirrel shows 15% increase in the size of its hippocampus, the memory and emotional center of the brain, compared to the rest of the year. This is extremely accurate because I have so many squirrels around me right now, and they're constantly going, getting ready for winter and everything. Let's see. Monarch butterflies, meanwhile, make autumn a migratory season, flying south from America to relatively warm of Mexico and parts of California, traveling at speeds of between 12 and 25 miles per hour. They are only insect that migrates up to 2,500 miles for a nicer winter. Then we go to Dia de Muertos, one of the oldest autumn festivals in Mexico. Dia de Muertos, November 1st and 2nd, a celebration of departed loved ones and the cycle of life that cultures may have observed thousands of years before Christmas. This became very popular recently when the movie Coco came out, which is a beautiful movie. Beautiful, and I cried. I watched it with my little brother from another mother, and he told me I was gonna cry, and I cried watching Coco. Pumpkins, perhaps the most iconic image of autumn, are grown on 6 of the 7 continents. Their names come from the Greek word pepon, roughly meaning large melon. The word traded hands from French pompon to British poumpion before colonial Americans dubbed it pumpkin. The colonials went one step further. The phrase pumpkin head, referring to a dork with short haircut all around, is recorded in America as early as 1781. A pumpkin head. It's gonna be my new insult. You're such a pumpkin head. The first day of autumn, the autumnal equinox, has 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of darkness. The term equinox comes from the Latin words equus, meaning equal, and nox, meaning night. Autumn is derived from the French, which came from the Latin autumnus and the Roman name for this season. In addition to the brilliant colors of fall leaves, the autumn equinox signals another colorful spectacle, the aurora borealis. According to NASA, autumn is the aurora season because geomagnetic storms are about twice as frequent as annual average during fall. I would love to see the aurora borealis. I think that's definitely on my bucket list. Comment below if you've ever seen the aurora borealis before. A harvest moon is the full moon closest to the autumn equinox, before artificial lighting such as moonlight was essential to a farmer's successful harvest. In Greek mythology, autumn began when Persephone was abducted by Hades to be the queen of the underworld. In distress, Persephone's mother, Demeter, the goddess of the harvest, caused all the crops on earth to die until her daughter was allowed to return, marking spring. While most foods are harvested during the autumn, foods particularly associated with the season include pumpkins, which are integral parts of Thanksgiving and Halloween in America, and apples, which are used to make the seasonal beverage apple cider. Apple cider does definitely need more praise. I know that everybody's about the pumpkin spice, and I love pumpkin spice too, but apple cider is delicious. I actually went out to a farm and got myself a gallon of apple cider recently because it's so good and fresh. Keeping on topic, you need a lot of apples to make apple cider. Apple cider is nearly as popular as pumpkin spice during the fall, but keeping up with the demand for fresh cider requires a whole lot of apples. Just 1 gallon of apple cider requires 36 apples. Since 1997, autumn has been one of the top 100 names for girls in the United States. I don't think that I'll probably have kids, but instead of autumn, I've always thought to name a daughter October. I saw it in the movie Stay Alive, and I really liked it. But autumn is a pretty name too. Bobbing for apples was once a British courting ritual. Bobbing for apples has been popular party game for Halloween celebrations for a long time, but it wasn't always the spooky holiday. It actually started out as a British courting ritual. Males were assigned an apple, and females would bob for them, trying to get the right apple from the man she wanted. If she did, it meant they were destined to be together. I've actually never bobbed for apples. The Irish used to carve turnips and potatoes. Much like Halloween costumes, jack-o'-lanterns started out as a way to scare off the evil spirits around Halloween. Back in the day, the Irish carved the faces in turnips, beets, or potatoes instead of pumpkins. Candy corn was originally called chicken feed. According to Guinness World Records, the highest number of lit jack-o'-lanterns on display is 30,581 by the city of Keene in 2013. The city of Keene, represented by Let It Shine, has broken the record 8 times over since the original attempt. That's a whole lot of pumpkin. The Michael Myers mask. The 1978 horror classic Halloween can be easily recognized in just one image. The psychotic Michael Myers and his iconic pale-faced mask. Without a doubt, it's one of the chilling looks that has struck terror in the hearts of partying teens in the slasher fix. The film was actually on such a tight budget that the crew used the cheapest mask they could find, a $2 Star Trek William Shatner mask. They did spray paint it in white and reshape the eye holes, making Captain James Kirk look incredibly creepy. Gives a whole new meaning to the word warp. I did actually know that, but I'm a Halloween fan. Halloween is the second highest grossing commercial holiday after Christmas. That's probably in the United States, I would assume. 50% of kids prefer to receive chocolate candy for Halloween, compared with 24% who prefer non-chocolate candy and 10% who prefer gum. The owl is a popular Halloween image. In medieval Europe, owls were thought to be witches, and to hear an owl's call meant someone was about to die. According to Irish legend, jack-o'-lanterns are named after a stingy man named Jack, who, because he tricked the devil several times, was forbidden entrance into both heaven and hell. He was condemned to wander the earth, waving his lanterns to lead people away from their paths. The largest pumpkin ever measured was grown by Norm Craven, who broke the world record in 1993 with an 836-pound pumpkin. I've gone to pumpkin patches before where those massive pumpkins are there, and it's just like crazy. Can you imagine like the time and effort of making sure nothing happened to that like award-winning pumpkin? Alright. Halloween is short for Hallows Eve or Hallows Evening, which was evening before All Hallows. Day or Hallowmas on November 1st. In an effort to convert pagans, the Christian Church decided that Hallowmas, or All Saints' Day, and All Souls' Day should assimilate sacred pagan holiday that fell on or around October 3rd. I kind of have a whole video on my second channel about the history of Halloween, by the way, if you're curious. Black and orange are typically associated with Halloween. Orange is a symbol of strength and endurance, and along with brown and gold stands for the harvest in autumn. Black is typically a symbol of death and darkness and acts as a reminder that Halloween once was a festival that marked the boundaries between life and death. Let's see. According to tradition, if a person wears his or her clothes inside out and then walks backwards on Halloween, he or she will see a witch at midnight. Scottish girls believed they could see images of their future husband if they hung wet sheets in front of the fire on Halloween. Other girls believed they would see their boyfriend's face if they looked into the mirrors while walking downstairs at midnight on Halloween. A child born on Halloween is said to have the ability to talk to spirits. My mom found out she was pregnant with me on Halloween. Do I get some sort of power for that? Me warm. It's been quite chilly. In many countries such as France and Australia, Halloween is seen as an unwanted and overly commercial American influence. You guys will have to tell me if that's true if you're in France or Australia. Both Salem, Massachusetts and Onka, Minnesota are the self-proclaimed Halloween capitals of the world. I would love to visit Salem, Massachusetts. I think that's on my bucket list too. The movie Halloween was originally titled The Babysitter Murders. And lastly, we have in Alabama, it is illegal to dress up as a priest or a nun on Halloween. So those are some random fall facts. Halloween facts that I found online that I thought could be interesting that we could discuss as we sip our warm beverage. Calm down from our day. If you guys are interested in getting your very own Cumbor French press, all of the details will be in the description below. Thank you again for sponsoring this Coffee with Cass. Hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of a warm fall fact evening, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, lovelies.